Caitlin's grandparents gave me this, I don't even know, like a coyote tooth necklace or something. And I haven't had grandparents to send me cool stuff in like years. And so this is actually, I'm pretty tickled actually. So this is 2 videos in one. Neither of which are particularly great on their own, and the whole video is actually very long. But if you're just itching for some sci-fi-ish monitor making content, well, gosh darn it, we've got it. Let's jump right into it. Let's see how things go. I looked at a bunch of reference. I'm really trying to get kind of an airline, type feeling to this. And right now I'm just trying to get some nice kind of asymmetric details going. I guess this is kind of a handle, which means we're gonna want to have some ergonomic type stuff going on here. Maybe I want some buttons right here, so I might actually like pull this part out to really make room for that. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work good. Here, we'll frame in the buttons. Cool. And let's have another like monitor bit kind of sticking out the side, showing like auxiliary information. Yeah, that could be good. And then we'll just try to make it all feel a little bit organic. Okay, let's add one more dumb little thing right here. Okay, so that's kind of a nice sci-fi shape. Yeah, it feels like you'd see that and be like, we're in sci-fi town. And we are in sci-fi town. Here, let's inset a monitor. Do we want to have some buttons along the bottom that kind of do stuff too? Let's cover this thing in buttons. Let's add way too many. So I'm going to hit I to inset. If I hit I again, each face would inset, but I don't want to do that just yet. Extrude, inset, extrude, and that'll be the monitor surface. Cool. And we could go in and start clicking Alt to select these edge loops, and then hit Control B, to start curving them out, which we're definitely going to want to do to kind of make it feel designed. But let's jump over real quick and start looking at some reference. Here's some stuff I snagged off of Pinterest. Pinterest? I don't know. And I just want to start absorbing some of these details because I love this kind of military, it's mostly designed by engineers. It's not really all that aesthetic, but in being that, it also has its own great aesthetic. Like, this is just a cube on some handlebars, and all the buttons clustered here like barnacles, and like that little inset bit, like it's good. So I definitely want something like this. I want to borrow as much of this as I can. This is just, I don't know. It's kind of a catch-all folder a little bit. And I've been loving these just old cars where they just shove as much of this stuff. Look, that's so weird. Yeah, I got a lot of old cars going in here. I forget, somebody posted a collection on Twitter that was just like, ooh, like look at these, I love these so much. And just the asymmetricality of the steering wheel going on here, this is really cool. This is like, because I grew up with cars like this, but this is just a little bit more so. Yeah, same with this. There's more robots. This is excellent. Look at this. I like the awkwardness of squares. I think I've been afraid of having just big extruded cubes in stuff, but it's very nice. I mean, it's kind of ugly, but it's also kind of fun. This is just straight ugly. This is not, but I love it too because it's just, I don't know. I think if they even just added like some curve to them, made them like buttons instead of just looking like it's one kind of awkwardly segmented panel. But the longer I look at it, the more I'm liking it. This one's kind of the same thing. Just all the buttons. Got the horn, the turn signals. Oh, this is excellent. I love that the steering wheel has these kind of little ergonomic bits, but then also swoops back to mount behind. And of course, just this kind of extended cluster on either side is excellent. And the swoops. Oh, there's so much going on in that one. I love it. That one actually looks fairly practical. Like the buttons are nice and color-coded and, clearly labeled and all of that. Swoop. I just like the swoops. This one looks like, what is this, the Batmobile? This has to be like a Batmobile or something. This can't be real. And a Juggernaut motorcycle. I got a lot of these joints. I was like, hey, we could model that joint with IK. Except I think this is actually like a proprietary, like, trademarked, or what's it called? Patented hinge design, because I kept running into the word patent every time I looked at this hinge. So yeah. Oh yeah, and this is what I got really excited about. There's a lot of keyboards like this. In fact, there's a keyboard called the Data Hand, which basically you stick your fingers in it and just they're surrounded by buttons, and depending on which way you move your finger, you can type really quick because you don't have to like move to the different buttons. They're all there. But apparently there's a pretty hefty learning curve. So let's, with all of this in mind, let's try to kind of absorb it and then put it back into our design. And also, I have this texture, this image texture that I got from PhotoBash. It's just they took a bunch of pictures of the inside of a cockpit. There's lots of ways to get pictures like that, but I think I'm gonna use this for the texturing, which means if I borrow some of the visual elements from this, the textures will match up with it nicely. I like these kind of like inset bits for the screws here. That's nice. We should definitely borrow some of that. So, all right, let's see. And actually, having looked at all of that, I kind of wish I'd made this bevel around here bigger so that I could like have it be a raised platform. I guess it's not particularly too late. Just once you start sliding stuff around, it can mess with you start to get these diagonal bits, which can make tweaking edge loops a little bit messy. Here, actually, let's extrude out a panel back here. It'll be like where the batteries inset or something. Cool. If we select that edge loop, we can bevel it and kind of smooth it out, make it look more part of it. In fact, let's select all of these here. I'm not really going to be working on the back of it. I'm not particularly worried about that. I want there to be something. Okay, just one bevel. Yeah, that'll be where the battery slips in. I guess I'm thinking like camera gear. I don't know if that's the same with like military stuff. Okay, we're going to inset. And I'm going to select this too. And let's extrude that out. Can I just bevel that without things getting weird? Yeah, I can. Okay. So let's... And this is basically just where we start jumping in and beveling everything. Defining the ergonomics a little bit. Can we select these ones? Alright. I think I want to... I'm going to select all these. I'm going to turn on, because I want to kind of slope it in, I'm going to turn on proportional editing and just try scaling it down and see if I can kind of take, the inside of that monitor with it a little bit. That's nice. In fact, if I select these right here, we could give the monitor kind of that old CRT bulge like that, which I don't know if I particularly want to do that. No, I do. That's nice. Alright, how do we make this a handle down here? I think first I'm gonna try to model a little bit by hand, because I don't want to push the bevels that far, because it can get kind of funky. Okay, I'm thinking about, like, where would the thumb go? The thumb, so you'd be grabbing it right here, and the thumb would be right here at, like, some sort of cluster or something. So that's kind of nifty. So, like, if you were holding it, I guess I can't, like this, and the thumb would be like... you get it. You get it. And also, because we're kind of trying to emulate a kind of a military-esque gear, the ergonomics don't have to be exactly on point, Okay, let's see what happens if we kind of just bevel that. And I'm trying to do that without this shape becoming too ugly, but my guess is it's just gonna be a little bit ugly. Like places right here where this would bevel really nice, but this intersection here, stuff's... Oh no, that's still fairly nice. Okay. Let's... What's a good way to clean this up? Because you can see it creates this other face that's kind of no good, and I don't know. Maybe if I just extrude that out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Gonna select these faces, extrude them down. And I'm kind of just setting myself up, hopefully, for success later, creating places where I can add little you know, where I can really let the textures do a lot of the work. Here, let's model a button here. I know I said I wanted a joystick or something here, but I might... Like, ideally, you hold it with one hand and have buttons on the other. So holding it with your right hand and then having the buttons on the right side is not good design at all. But it's how I set it up, and probably no one will think that hard. I certainly didn't. So let's just go with it. All right. So the button will be like this. I like the idea that they slide in. Maybe there's different modes, like an old cassette deck, like chung 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 chung. So we can add like some negative space here for the buttons to slide into. Which means this is where you would press in. So in fact, let's add a little divot. For where the fingers would go. Did I mess that up? That's not exactly... Oh, okay. It's because I moved the bell. Well, it's kind of interesting. Okay, let's do that on this axis too. Just pull it back a little bit. I'm trying to do this kind of just old school buttons. Cool. And why this bit? I don't know. To make it sci-fi. So if we shade smooth and go down here into data properties, we can check auto smooth, and stuff starts to look pretty good. I might make the button a different object, or maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that later. Okay, so ideally we can fit an even number of these in here. In fact, let's do... Ooh, yeah, let's make these kind of a funky shape. So I'm going to stack them. Select them. I have a select all. Normally it's Control L on the keypad, but I have it mapped to a button on my mouse. So if I just select one bit of each thing, I can click it and it selects the whole bit, which is a big time saver. Okay, yeah, that fits in there pretty good. I'm going to invert the selection and hide it so I can use proportional editing without it affecting anything else. And now I can just pull it out like that. Like maybe... I think that's probably good. Pull these bits back in. It's a little bit too pointed. Yeah, it's fine. It's definitely solidly retro, isn't it? Yeah, let's add some recessed bits to the back of the buttons here. Yeah, maybe we'll add some screw holes later. In fact, I wonder if we could do that just easily. My guess is it would add... Yeah, that's funky. We'll do it with booleans. Okay, so I like this. I want to integrate it into the rest of the handle a little bit better. And maybe, yeah, again, we'll do that with the booleans. Okay, so we got those buttons. Let's add a couple more right here. Oh. There we go. Huh. And this is where I want to get some of that awkward, you know, just poorly not an iPhone aesthetic of like, these are just like buttons that you had in your workshop that you're like sticking on this thing. Trying to kind of match, I guess, the curve of that. And we could pull out here. If we turn on connected, we can just grab those ones right there. Just pull out these middle bits a little, and that kind of, yeah, that's interesting. Interesting enough. More beveling all the time. Okay, I'm gonna slip this over until it's more or less vertical. In fact, then I might slip both of these back so we can turn this face into some sort of screen. raise these ones up. Same thing we did at the top. Cool. I to inset. E to extrude, and let's give it a double. Yeah. And now we can round out some of these bits. Kind of matching this other curve a little bit. Okay. So now we can make this some sort of other screen. Again, I'm thinking of like the miles per hour gauge. They sometimes have it in kind of this just very funky shape on some of these old cars. This definitely needs some sort of bevel going on. Yeah. Okay, so I think should probably do a little bit more beveling first. But we're at the point where I can start adding seams and stuff, which I really enjoy. Here, let's add some loops because we're going to be adding our seams on the loops. Okay. So and kind of just think about how would they fit this together. And I'm not going to go super overboard on it. This I think would mess it up because it's just like double, but how would they actually build this? And my guess is this is going to help us design the rest of it too, because it's going to give us more just kind of random data to work with. Whoop. Okay, I did not mean to select that whole back bit, but maybe I can just be fine with that, you know? Okay, that goes all the way around. That's good. That part probably will stop being good. We'll add some specific seams to the handle later. I just want to keep it nice and clean in case we need to do some more cleanup. Is this looking okay here? I want to get him off this front faceplate. Yeah. Okay, I think we're ready. I'm gonna hit Control B and scroll to bevel just that single seam. Oh, I have random faces selected. Okay, going into vertex selection mode. I think this stuff's a little funky, but let's see. Yeah, that looks cleaner. All right, Control B. Scroll that down. In fact, maybe we'll. No, this will be perfect. Keep it nice and thin. We don't want to go overboard. And then we're just gonna hit Alt E, extrude along normals, and that's gonna bring it right in there. And then if I hit Control Plus on the numpad, it expands the selection to include the outer side of the seam, so I can bevel it a little bit and just create a nice kind of panel look. Now we've got all these kind of plastic seams, and if we want, we can like take these, you know, like these bits here we've just added, and like start playing with them now if we wanted, which is kind of it's a weird. I don't know if I like that, but like right here, it kind of looks like it's just begging to kind of be played with a little bit. Cool. This could be a good place for like a power switch or like a status LED. Yeah. Okay, so now we've got all of this stuff here. We'll definitely want some buttons going on. Okay. Guess it's a little Pip-Boy. I should have seen that coming. Everything always ends up being a little Pip-Boy. It's Fallout 3. Maybe I'll Fallout. I don't know. I've only ever seen my friend play Fallout 3. Okay. I do like that it's like a gun. It's like a big gun with a monitor, and it's just big and heavy and looks dumb, and I like it a lot. Alright. We're going to inset. I'm going to bring those back in to kind of smooth them out. I'm gonna invert this. Oh no! Invert the selection. Yes. Select these here. Expand the selection. Invert it so I can just bevel these bits here. And maybe this will not work good. It works. Works okay. Those are decent buttons. Alt-H, return all of the hidden stuff. And let's see, are there any other places? Like, we should definitely stick some buttons some other places here. Like, I know we set it up to do it. About right there. I'm using Control plus on the numpad and Control minus a lot to kind of just help me grab stuff, expanding the selection and despanding, coalescing, contracting. Okay, so these are good. We do need like a big long one. And then maybe one more. Does this still fit? Yeah, that like comes down for some reason, kind of like an old enter key. Doesn't really follow the ergonomics of this bit. Can we do that? Can we easily? I feel like it'd be hard. All the more reason to try. Unless if you're trying to do things on a deadline, in which case, no, give up and do the easy thing. All right, so we've slanted the bevel, which means now if we, this isn't gonna work, is it? We extrude it down, rotate this. Okay, it's bad. It's messy, but it looks like I may have forgotten that. Oh yeah, there we go. Drag these guys out to the very end or something. Come on, Bevels, clean it all up for me. Bevel is so mad at me right now. It's like, sir, I did not sign up for this. Don't bring me into your bad topology. Like, what is this bit right here? It's bad. We'll add screw holes. It'll look like it's on purpose. Okay, so that can be a special button. It's the shortest day of the year. I lay awake until 6 a.m. last night, and I don't know why. This part's called beveling everything. Kind of like that. Okay, so now we have our little object. I feel like I should still probably hide a bunch more buttons and stuff on here, but maybe we build to that. The reason I'm not really is because these are all angled. If they were flat, I would have a much easier time. In fact, maybe I'll just model a new little flat bit here. And here, let's invert the selection because I want to get that one bit where, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it without the picture. It was this one right here where it had kind of these recessions for the buttons, and I want to model that real quick. So I'm going to do exactly what we did before with the seams, but I'm going to kind of reverse it. So here we go. Here's our new edge loops. Scale them up to fit. Okay, just select everything on the front here. Maybe I don't need to select these parts. Yeah. And then Control B. And then extrude. Cool. Can select all of these. And just bring these. Oh. And bring this in. And why does it look like that's not? Oh, there's a seam here for some reason. I did not know that. I don't particularly want it. I'm sure it makes sense. Okay, that's fine. Can I just Control X dissolve? I can. That's great. Okay, so that'll hold some buttons real good. And I can create a little button here. Alt-H, and I'm gonna select every button on this thing and make it its own object at this point, I think. So that I can do some, oh, I accidentally selected one of the wrong pieces right from the get-go. Okay, dun, 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 dun. Good. Okay, and then P, selection, now it's its own object, and that means we can kind of add in some other details with Booleans. In fact, let's because it's kind of hard to see what's going on. Let's try playing with the mat caps a little bit and see if maybe that helps us a tad. Yeah, I've never really understood the mat caps. I think they help a lot if you're doing sculpting, but okay, so I'm gonna set up a cube here because I want to make kind of little grooves for the buttons to slip into. I just think it's gonna kind of help from an aesthetic standpoint. We could go all the way through, but we should just probably. Kind of want to eat it out of both of them. I don't think that's actually going to do all that much. We should try it over here instead. Okay, eat that, eat that, eat that, eat that. And all we got to do is, because we have Node Wrangler enabled in the add-ons, we can select this, shift-click on this, and hit Control negative, and now it eats away, which is an easy way of adding detail. And we can go into this object, and we can edit it at any time. Edit it at any time, edit it at any time. Okay, cylinder, let's give it 10 vertices. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and let's add some screw holes. I love adding screw holes. It adds such validity to your design. I used to just add screw holes, but now sometimes I go in and I add screws to them, which is just a whole new level of absolute madness. We should be checking and making sure that these are actually intersecting. And look at that, you can see it's actually doing it as we go. Mostly I'm just seeing all these other places I wish I'd added a bevel to, but that'll be okay. I'm not particularly worried about how deep these go. In fact, we could have them go all the way through, and it's just a bolt on the other side, too. Back definitely needs some screw holes. Okay. Front palm bit. A little nervous about this because I still feel like I'm going to be doing some topology work down here just to like add materials and such. Gotta wrap this front piece. Guess I didn't really do anything with this part, did I? Try to slip it in there. Yeah. Trust me, the screw holes they add a certain sum. We're not going overboard. Yeah, there we go. And I want to add screw holes to the buttons too. All I'm finding are actually reasons why I should have kept all of these the same mesh to begin with, but that's okay. Okay. I'm gonna add a lot of screw holes to the buttons, man. All right, so this shift click, control negative, and there we go. It's adding some weirdness, and I think, nope, that's just how it's gonna be. These might all be a little bit big, so I'm gonna go into individual origins and just shrink them a little bit and pull them back. Yeah, that's looking nice. Do these other buttons need screw holes? Well, this one, like we were talking about, definitely needs a couple. Oh man, it's the screw hole that goes into nothing. That's not good design. Okay, maybe there can be, oh no. We'll go back into the other Boolean object. And let's add some tiny screw holes just around this monitor too. Which again, doesn't make sense because it would be, if we're implying this is CRT, there's a big glass vacuum chamber there. But maybe it's just there in the bezel area. Ooh, and let's add another seam here to the TV with that little trick. Just Control B, Alt E, extrude along normals, Control plus, and just bevel that whole thing just a little bit. And we got a seam. Yeah, this is looking okay. Let's see. I kind of want to do something with these ends. They kind of just look a little bit too rough. Maybe insetting them is a good idea. Just create a little bit of that negative zone in there. Make it look like plastic has thickness. Yeah, now they look a little too hollow, a little insubstantial, but I think that could be interesting. Okay. Well, let's, oh yeah, that works. Let's do a big, nice, flat one right here. Oh, it's not selecting. That part might get to live. The seams can sometimes make it hard to go through and add bevels after the fact. Okay, now we texture. I should probably texture. Yes, I will texture before I apply the Boolean operations. So let's go in here, create a new texture. We call it our handheld computer. Base color will be an image. Open up our, like what I kind of want to do is use the texture from that old vintage TV that I have. Where is it? I've got it somewhere. There's lots of buttons. There's monitor bits. And UV editor. I'm just gonna select everything at U. Cube projection. Hey, Caitlin.
Walking outside is like taking a shower.
It is so wet outside. Oh, that already looks so much more real. You should have seen a second ago, Caitlin. It did not look real at all, and now it has kind of a. Feels like you could, you know. Okay, so I love this. I think a lot of this is just film grain, but it already kind of gives it that kind of plastic feeling, and combined with all the screw holes and stuff, I'm pretty happy with it. But let's see. So there isn't. Normally, I like to have a big solid piece of uninterrupted material, like I don't know, like this. But we don't totally have that in this one. It all has little things going on. And sometimes you'll get something like this where there's like a little bit of a button somewhere and you can just work that into the design. But I don't totally know if we can do that in this case. I do know I don't want any random stuff, you know, sticking around like that. I'm going to apply the scale and try cube projecting one more time just in case. Yeah, ooh. Now see, that's like the device I wanted. Hopefully we'll still get something kind of like that. But we'll try to make this subtle at first. There we go. All kind of fits into a nice negative space there. There's, I guess, a little bit too much going on in some of these places, but we'll fix that later. We'll grab these parts. Let's just hide them. Yeah, we got this whole thing here. Normally, I'd want to incorporate the screws from the texture because they're actually pretty good. But in this case, I want to keep everything as subtle as I can. These pieces will all be... I'm really into control clicking now. It lets you just select one face and it'll just follow the path. You know, sometimes it tries to do the shortest path and it doesn't exactly know what the shortest path is. But when it works, it's great. So I'm gonna add a new material. This will be LCD screen, and we'll figure out what that means later. There we go. Oh wow, look at that. That curve is this part's supposed to be higher, I think. I wonder if we can just fix that with proportional editing. No, not really. Okay, so that's... Hold that up a little. Whoa, come on. And pull that... Oh. Selected everything. Of course. Pull that up. There we go, that's a little better. And maybe while we're here, we can try to... I should have done this before I did the UV unwrapping. Now I'm working in this tiny, tiny little area. I have a 4K monitor over here, which is usually a lot nicer for stuff like this, but not so good for making videos, because I don't want all the buttons to be so tiny for you guys. Okay, that's kind of nice. I don't really like this big seam going through, but maybe that's just how it will be. Yeah, it's looking okay. Let's jump over the buttons really quick. I'm gonna use the same material. I'm gonna solo it, and I'm just gonna hit U. What are we gonna do? I guess cube projection, and it kind of maintains all of the actual dimensions, which is nice. So I'm gonna try to keep all of these parts uniform. Whoa. I would have thought these would all be contiguous. Are they not? They are here. They're not here. Okay, well that just means we'll have to be smart about it. I'm gonna select all of these, shrink them down. So one thing to keep in mind is that buttons do stuff, and somebody out there knows what the buttons do. Like somebody here had to use these controls. Like I've looked it up, and Mux it's just the audio mixer, I think. So they've got different audio inputs and different radios and stuff, and they've got different people with different headphones, and it just controls who's listening to what. And so if you just start grabbing things, being like, oh, this looks like cool buttons, it'd be the equivalent of like if you're watching The Matrix and like Trinity opens up Blender and starts doing her hacking in like the text editor, and it's like, Trinity, why are you using Blender for that? Is that really the best tool? And she's like, shut up, it looks cool, doesn't it? It's like, I looks like Blender to me. Honestly, that would be a Matrix I would be into. Okay, so here's this. That one's, can I hide it? Yes, I can, great, because these buttons are getting very complicated. I don't know why they're non-contiguous. So it doesn't really fit. I kind of made an awkwardly shaped button, and I'm wondering what the best thing is to do about that. Maybe I'll select all of these. You project from view. Just try to like line them up on here. It's kind of nice. We'll do the other ones first. Like, I'm gonna do a lot of project from view for these guys. Let's just keep it nice and square. You project from view, and now we just line all these up with actual buttons. I wonder, what if we use the black label bits instead of, most of these are vertical, but like if we line this one up with duplex, that could be kind of cool. I guess it's weird that the lines aim downwards. Can we? Cool. This will be the secure voice button. Nice, so that will fit right there. This is kind of weird that that's bleeding in, but we can just literally grab these and be like, don't, and it's good. Now the screw holes make no sense. Why would you put screw holes like that? Like, can I might try to see if I can expand this. Yeah, so duplex fills the middle there, and then I'll just grab, fix it like that so that the white lines don't bleed in. That's good. Vox. You can walk the walk, but can you vox the vox? Well, that's not working very good. Oh, it's because the inner square is not actually the entire inner square. Yeah, all of these have stuff right next to them. It's a little bit tricky. It'd be very easy to do one of these screws. This is just a... That's just a screw button. I love it. Ooh, we could steal these black buttons. That's actually basically what we modeled. Ooh, that works really good. Maybe I'll just do that. Do they have any other buttons like that? I mean, my guess is if we, again, do kind of what we meant to do to begin with and just snag some of this stuff, it works okay. Oh yeah, that works a-okay. Satellite, FM satellite. That's gonna be my guess for what that says. Because satellite FM. Oh, I did the same one both times? Oh no, that's just the same on multiple buttons. Whatever. I do want to get some of these other like orange and yellow buttons in here, even though the lighting isn't all that good. So let's just start snagging them. Conference? I think that probably says conference. Cool. State. Should probably be trying to keep these the same scale so that the words will all be the same size. Okay, and then some white ones, yeah. And another white one. Will this look, oh no, I feel like this is kind of looking dumb. I just looked over it over here. Well, we can try to clean that up a little bit like this. Actually having stuff following the perspective of the buttons. Okay, how does that look? Just want to give it a little more room to breathe, but I think it's looking okay. Whoa. Okay, that's looking okay. Bevel these here because we can. Oh, that was a lot of work for just some tiny little buttons. I do want to clean up this bit, this little plate. Let's stick that somewhere fun, maybe somewhere lighter. This texture is good for button selection, but honestly, I'm only using like this bit and this bit, so maybe it's not the absolute best. This duplex really steals the show, doesn't it? Alright, let's get some of these buttons too over here. They should be more of the white buttons. So I guess this could just be a radio controller. Oh, these all say... Alright, 1, 2... Yeah, this is the one that picks... Oh no, Blender! Oh no! Oh, did I even save it? I didn't even save it. Recover last session. Yes, recover it. Uh-oh, it's thinking too hard. It's recovering something wrong. So that's today's lesson, is you should save. Darn it. I was happy with how that was turning out, too. That's embarrassing. Am I literally blushing? I think I am. Well... Okay, so I was in denial for a second. I was like, it's got to be in one of these buffers or something somewhere. But I've been working on this shot, and yesterday I documented the process of making this little component, and I wasn't really going to release it because, I don't know, I just felt like I was tired or something. But it's kind of fun. I make both the content on the screen using curves and stuff, and also the little monitor itself. So I'm just I'll stick that in there right now. Hello! Okay, still working on this shot. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. Still a couple things to finish on it. Like these monitors here, they're all just kind of inset cubes, which works okay, but I want to actually kind of model something kind of fun and techy. And also, so radio, as of like, I don't know, 10-15 years ago, it started transmitting digitally too, which means they have more room for additional channels. So you have your main radio station, but then they can also have a secondary and a tertiary station along with that, with alternative content. And I thought that'd be kind of cool for like sports, where you have your main sports channel, but then also you could, subscribe, hook up other monitors to other feeds, like just the announcers, and one that's just stats, and one that's like maybe a top view of the field, looking down or whatever. And you could just hook those up. And this guy's a big hyperbole fanatic, and so he has that all kind of set up around his cooking station. So yeah, I've started making some content for that, but I want to make, I think, a map view showing where all of the racers are, along the course. So I thought, let's just try to put that together real quick here in Blender. So let's get to it. Curve, Bezier, and I'm just gonna start trying to make something that looks kind of like a course. I don't know. This part's hard because it's just having to pull kind of a random thing out of your butt. feel like this is not good. Yeah, maybe it's fine. Let's put in some S-curves. Yeah. Everyone hates the S-curves. Okay, if you hit Alt-C, it'll close the whole track up. So now it's a loop. And I'm sure we'll be refining this quite a bit. But let's tuck this kind of under here. This might be a big squiggly mess, but I think it'll be okay. All right, and now let's add our course. I'm gonna add a cube here. I'm gonna delete the tops and sides here. I made the cube exactly at the same origin as the curve, just because that's gonna make life easier for me. So I'm gonna scale this down, extrude this out. Add some edge loops. Oh, let me turn on the screencast. Yes, there we go. And I think it helps if I line this up with the origin, though I'm not actually sure that matters. But that means now I should be able to apply an array modifier, which will help me extend this out, and also a curve modifier, so I can just snap it right to this curve, and there we go. So I can just turn up the array, and it'll make the whole course here kind of fun. Now I can go into the curve, and I can start to kind of tweak how this works. Just get rid of these overlaps. Look at that. That's nice and straightforward. If we want to, we can also go in and change the tilt. Where is it? Item? No. Oh, there. Okay, it's right there. We can change the tilt to these individual points, so we can kind of make them, you know, slope like they would be. Let's take these two and maybe, oh, that one and that one. Tilt them in. It doesn't matter too much, because again, we're going to be seeing it from the top in this case. But if you wanted to do this, because this is going to be like an actual kind of race course, like, you don't have to use this just for a map. I'm saying this as if you would be doing that. I don't know. This is another very specific tutorial, kind of like the stir-fry one, I guess, but... Okay. And I'm not too worried, because I can go in and tweak, you know, this curve at any point in this process, so... Kind of nice to be working non-destructively. Okay, so I've got that going on. I could go in and probably add some more more resolution here, but I'm also just going to add a subdivision here at the end. Check simple to get rid of those little notches. Shade it smooth, and under object data normal, so I'll check auto smooth, and now it's smooth. I think I could get that a little smoother. And it's smoother than it looks, but the curve resolution is I think maxing this out. So if I check the curve, I can turn that up, and that'll smooth it out a little bit. Oh no, I guess this is just let's just right click subdivide. Now it's smooth. Okay, cool. So I'm trying to think, you know, I'm trying to design this so that it would fit real good in like a top view diagram, like trying to picture this being in a stadium or something like that. And so I think we've got something pretty good here. All right, now let's add some racers. Just gonna add a little cube, woo, and shift click on this path, and this path is just gonna be the path for the racers. Control P, path constraint, and right this dotted line shows where it's attached. So I'm just gonna drag that down there and put it. Woo, let's make it red. Emit. We're gonna be using a lot of emission materials just to keep stuff glowing a little bit. Yeah. In fact, I think the final render for this one's going to be an Eevee, because it's not supposed to be totally photoreal, even though Eevee could give you photoreal stuff, but it works really good for kind of graphic type elements too. So, okay, let's... I kind of thought it would already be animating. Let's see, let's check the path here. Path animation, yes. And this has a path constraint. Animate path. There we go. Okay. And ideally this will be looping. Right now the path is set to be 100 frames long. So we want to make that a little longer to slow the whole thing down. So let's say like maybe 1,000. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we also want to set this up so that the cube follows the curve. So let's see, curve, follow curve. There we go. So now it should be following. Yeah, that's nice. And this means actually we could set up a camera, parent it to that cube. Boop. And be going for a little ride. Here, let's change the clipping here. Whoa. Maybe better if it were smaller. Cool. And it's also very easy to offset. Gonna duplicate that, and just under the constraint, I'll just change the offset. Here, let's make it a different color. Duplicate it again. Make it a different color. Duplicate it again. Uh-oh, I'm just changing the color of the main. I forgot to make new. Well, that's not hard to fix. Okay. Just change these offsets here. There'll be a little clump in this area. Make that a new. Is there another one there? No. Okay, duplicate that. Make it a new material. Make it a random color. Pink? Nice. And offset. And I'll do a few more of these later, but there they go. They're all racing around the track. And if we wanted to have one like catching up, we would just animate the offset here to make him kind of catch up to that guy. But I don't even know if we need to do that because this is mostly what I wanted. And I still love that, like, woo, here we go. If you just replace this all with actually good models, it would hold up. Okay, let's add some little, why doesn't this look like, oh, it's because it's at an angle. Well, maybe, I don't know, I think that works fine. Let's add their names. So they're just kind of got hovering labels. Text, this'll be Ranger Razor. He'll be in second place. And I'm gonna give it an emissive material. Boop. Cool. And have it up above here. I'm gonna be working in orthographic, so it doesn't matter where things are, you know, up and down, because we're just gonna be seeing it from an infinitely far distance, so perspective won't really matter. In fact, let's set up a camera for that right now. We want it to be up above the whole scene. Orthographic. And just change the scale so everything fits in there, and that works good. I think I want this to be square for the final, like it'll just be a square monitor. That'll be kind of weird. Let's just do 1080 by 1080, and that gives us a lot of room to fit a lot of other stuff in there too, which will be good. Okay, so let's have this follow. Actually, I might squeeze this in there. Let's parent, what do we want to do? Object, add object constraint. It'll be a child of that one. Uh-oh, where'd it go? We're only going to copy the location. And I'm going to click set inverse, which will set it back to where it was before I applied the constraint. And now it'll follow the green one without also following the rotation, which is kind of cool. It's a little bit small. Here, let's pick a better font. Well, that's not a bad one. Alternative Gothic, always a good choice. And it's casting a shadow, which is kind of weird. So under the material properties, let's just turn shadow to none. Cool. This is slowly revealing other kind of weirdnesses about the track. Just gonna try to get rid of some of these very abrupt curves here, and I'm also gonna make the road darker. Cool. Right now it's the denoising is throwing this all off, but that won't be like that in the final. Here, we'll uncheck denoising, get it a little more visible. Want squiggly, but not like abrupt. Yeah. Okay. Here, let's add a couple more of these. Constraint. Now you are going to be the child of the blue one. Cool. And you're going to be the child of the pink one. And you'll be the child of the other pink one. And you'll be the child of the red one. And so that you don't have to watch me do the same thing over and over, I'm gonna set this up real quick. Okay, then there we go. Everybody's got a different name and a different position and all of that. And for a second, I was accidentally making them all backwards, and it was no good. But that's looking okay. All right, let's try to turn this into an actual screen-looking thing if we can. So I'm gonna add a plane in the background here. I like that it's casting a shadow. I think that's actually kind of cool. So putting this like that. I'm gonna put it down below everything. And we'll see if we like this. The shadows might be a little bit too confusing, but we can also fix that a few ways. I'm going to tab into edit mode, select these corners here, and hit Control-Shift-B, just round that out. Cool. And let's add a key, I think, at the bottom here. We should probably keep the same width of bevel. Yeah, we'll do that. This is maybe too rounded. Control-Shift-B, just a little bit. Put a top bit up here. Same with the bottom. Cool. That's looking okay. I think we can tuck that up. Okay. Let's add a little bit of like an interesting background too. Let's add a plane here. And I think we can just make this kind of weird. Tab into edit mode. Here I'm going to solo it. Just subdivide it a few times, and then individual origins in face selection mode. Double tap I to inset, and I'm just going to rotate all of these on their individual axes. Inset again. We're just going to make this kind of funky design. It might be a little bit too busy, but we'll find out. Okay, I'm going to make it a dark gray. In fact, let's make it emissive and then dark gray. Cool. And if we add a wireframe modifier, there we go. Yeah, that's a nice, just random background. I mean, we could do more too. We could like twist the whole thing into like, whoa, but that's no good. Okay, I'm gonna add another plane underneath that's just a very dark gray. New. I think there's probably like a shadeless or something, so we're not using emissive, but here we go. How's that look? It's kind of interesting. I guess the background isn't really doing it any favors. Also, if we want to minimize the shadows here, we can just turn up the emission color, and it'll kind of have its own glow. I like keeping a little bit of it, though, you know? And if we turn on ambient occlusion, we can kind of get like that drop shadow effect. At least I sure thought so. Maybe it's not close enough. Oh well. Alright, and this is getting rid of, we can't really see the words on white, so let's make this, I don't know, maybe a blue. Ooh, I like that the emissive only shows up in the shadows. That's kind of emissive color. Makes sense. Oh, subsurface color, won't do anything. Ha! Okay. That's looking kind of nice. In fact, but let's turn down, I'm gonna make the blend mode to alpha blend, and I'm just going to turn down the alpha, and we'll have, let's see, I'm going to inset all of this and then duplicate it so it's kind of got this border thing going on. Yeah, that's looking good. In fact, let's do it again. Scale it all down too. Inset, duplicate that. There we go. Now now that's kind of, it looks a little bit fancier. Maybe we make the track like yellow, slightly yellow emissive. Maybe orange. Yeah, it looks kind of like a PlayStation game, I guess. I'm not mad at it. We could do other stuff, like we could. Let's see. Whoa, it's hard to tell what's selected because it's all glowing yellow. Can select these here, scale them out, and what if we make that darker? Add a new material, assign. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so what else could we want to do with this? Obviously, we want to add some new text up here. Just use the font we already got. Oh, yeah. Racer locations on track. Look at the screencast, it's going nuts. And hopefully that just won't be readable because I don't know. Sometimes my brain does not want to have to come up with good gobbledygook. So if I were really cool, I'd set up a little grid of all of these different colors down here and give them all names and stuff like that, but I'm not even sure I want to do that, really. I do feel like we need to add some more little, like, techie doodads. I like this view from the side, actually. In fact, I feel like we should model the stands and stuff that are visible. Yeah, is that a good idea? Is that a good thing to do? No. We'll keep it nice and simple. Or maybe I'll do it like in here. Yeah. All right. So I'm just cutting into the background right now, and I'm gonna try to like make a little map of where the stands would be. And this is we'll see how well it works. Getting kind of quick and free with the knife tool, but that's how we like it. My the past couple weeks, it's just we're at peak darkness. We're just like 2 days from the longest night of the year, and it's just rainy and dark. And I've been staying up till 4 a.m. and falling asleep at like 5. I'm seeing so little daylight. And so making these videos, I'm just like, oh, I don't, so I have no extra social energy. And so forgive me if my words are not great. But if I only made videos when I felt like I had an abundance of energy, I would not be making many videos. And I like making videos. Okay, so I'm gonna duplicate this and extrude it upwards. And what does that do? Hey, okay, that is exactly what I wanted. And it's casting shadows, and it's kind of got this. That's cool. Yeah, I should have done that earlier. In fact, I'm gonna make this its own object so that I can duplicate it and give it a wireframe modifier. Yeah, that's doing some cool stuff. So, okay. Maybe I'll just rotate this entire... I'll rotate the camera now. Whoa, it's always weird to rotate orthographic cameras. Rotate like that. Oh, which axis are we on? There we go. Huh. Cool. I like that it's all actually like kind of 3D. Woo. I'm saying as if that wasn't what we were doing all along. Okay, turn on all this stuff. It doesn't make any difference. Okay. Well, if that's what we're doing, I might slide some of this stuff around. Make it work from this new angle. And zoom in the camera. And yeah, there we go. We've got some content for an extra monitor. I'll put some extra little doodads down here. In fact, I'm going to do that for a second, but I don't want people to watch because it's hard to come up with random tech stuff when people are watching you. Okay, added some doodads there, and I actually like having the emissive color different than the base color. Kind of gives this very cool look. I am really happy with this. I think this background texture is not doing many favors, but it's okay. What if we change it to be a little yellow? Yeah, it changes nothing. Let's see, do I want to? I could parent all this, like, to just this background and have it be like, woo, like, orbiting, because it looks cool in 3D, but I think we don't need to show off the fact that it's 3D. I think this will work just great, just the way it is. So let me render that out. Actually, before I do, let's add like a little trouble area or something on here. I'm just gonna add a plane, inset it. I could do this with a wireframe modifier, but this will be okay. And I'm just gonna like stick it down near one of these cubes. And let's have it get the same constraint that like we used with the text. So just a child of the blue one, yeah. Turn off everything but the location. Set inverse, cool. New material, we'll make it emissive. We'll turn off the shadows, and we'll make it like a red. That's kind of cool. Actually, I like it when it was selected like that. Let's do that. Here, inset here. Create a new material. There we go. That looks like maybe it's kind of like a random trouble zone. Might be kind of weird across the whole course, but we can imagine that like maybe that's like what the announcers are talking about, and so they brought up a like a highlight zone. Kind of cool. In fact, maybe we'll duplicate this too to show where like a hazard area is. Yeah, and we'll label that hazard area. It'll be spike zone active. We'll put it 90 degrees, which is probably horrible design, but it'll look okay. Cool. Maybe we'll add like spikes. Oh. I like it. Just be like, oh, it's the spike zone. Let's inset. Oh, never mind. Let's extrude. Oh, extrude, and then we'll just scale them all so they all kind of fit down. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, I must have extruded them down. There we go. Yeah, that looks horrible. It's so tacky. Oh, it's okay though. It's okay. These little UI bits, I try to have fun with it because, in all honesty, I don't really like making them. It's kind of a necessary evil. I've made so many random tech monitor things, and it's always just a thing you do because you gotta do it. Alright, now I'm rendering it out. Woo! Oh, that's pretty fun. It actually would be fun to like motion track this as a 3D thing into like a scene, like, you know, on a table or something. But alright, I think I'm actually gonna keep going because like I love poking around with the Arduino little stuff just because it's so accessible these days, and I don't actually do all that much with it, but I like to pretend I could someday. Like, imagine building an actual practical prop, you know, just using all these different monitor components and modules and stuff, and you make this kind of like home-built system. I think it's so cool. So I want to make something that kind of looks like maybe the guy in World did that, where he wanted an extra monitor, so he ripped something out of something else and he was able to hook it up so it's viewing a feed. So let's see how we can do. Yeah, save changes. Gonna start with the old images as planes thing and just try to, let's see. Have yeah, we'll bring in this guy right here. And we'll just, this is going to be really small, so I'm just going to try to make something really quick. Cutting out a random circuit board, it'll be like a back piece. Uh-oh, got some weird diagonal action going on in there. Right here, what is that? We can fix that. There we go. Okay. Okay, that, we'll keep that. This will be very useful. Let's cut it out. Oh. We gotta keep these little tabs. Keeps trying to go diagonal. Maybe I'll just freehand it. It's when you get it to, we turn on C for a line, sometimes it'll just get really funky. Oh, yeah, like that, so. I like being able to use just all of the original little tabs and things that they already figured out from the design process. Because otherwise, I'd have to come up with them, and that sounds hard. Okay, let's cut out the middle here. This is one of those situations where the more detail you put in, the more it'll really pay off in the end. But this is going to be a very small component, so I'm just kind of doing it quick. Okay, so select that. Yeah, we got that piece. Anything else we want? Yeah, we want this one down here. If we were really cool, we'd cut out those middle bits, keep that negative space, but I think it's probably fine. Okay, so we've got some starting pieces. I'll delete this one. We'll leave this over here. Let's import our video. Where did I put it? I think it's under Merchants, Visual Effects, TVs. There we go. We'll make it an emission material. We got it right there now. Cool. And let's just try to kind of make a little module to hold this thing. I think if I add some extra edge loops here, yeah, we'll just kind of stretch this out. Hold that. Cool. Whoa. Doesn't seem to be clipping the back faces or whatever. I think that's... Here, we'll go into material properties and just turn off show back faces. There we go. Cool. Blow this up a little bit as if it's mounted on the circuit board, just there in the background. This will be a, oh, this will be here on the side, maybe. This isn't really good design. I think it's gonna get the point across, but like I don't know how this would actually fit into any sort of component, but maybe that's okay. And if we wanted, we could extrude this stuff a little bit. I don't even know if we need to do that particularly, but it's not gonna hurt anything. Okay, let's see how this looks. First, let's tweak the materials for the screen here. And we could go in and actually try to add some sort of RGB, pixel thing, but I don't actually think we need to do that. I'm gonna check cyclic, and how are we looking? Ooh, that's looking good. EB's being a little bit weird because it judges depth based off of like the origin, and I think I figured out a way to deal with that at one point, but now I forget what it was. But let's turn this into kind of a material. Turn up the roughness. Let's plug this down into the normal vector bump, just to use the actual image texture to kind of tweak the materials a little bit. In fact, let's see, if I clamp the higher values, I think the steel will stay smooth while all of the darker stuff will keep the bump. So converter, color ramp, and let's just Control-Shift-Click to solo that. Yeah, now there will be a lot of bump on this darker area, but the bright stuff won't really be affected much, so. Huh. There we go. Maybe invert it? Yeah, that feels kind of good. Let's jump over into the cycles. Where did... Oh, I hit solo view. I think I want to have it actually nestled in there, and then... Yeah, I'll just add another plane back there that's kind of mounted on. Like, I guess I should probably do like a sheet of glass or something just over the top to make it reflective, but I don't know if I really need to do that. Okay, so back behind there. And we'll just have this be some of this nonsense. Yes! That's looking good to me. I guess maybe there's a lot of additional stuff kind of going on. Maybe I'll shrink this bit. And I like this going on. Cool. There we go. Got a little video screen. Let's just stick it in the scene. Actually, first let's add a ribbon cable. I think we can do that just with a plane here. I've never really tried to do a ribbon cable, but let's see. Just gonna extrude some of this. Yeah, I'm gonna select all of these, bevel them nice and smooth, select all of them and go Alt-E, extrude along normals just a little bit. Oh, this should be coming out from behind there. Portion editing on. Okay. Let's use that material. You unwrap. How's that working? Whoa! I guess, what do we want to do? You project from view, and I'm just going to use one row of pixels here. So I'm going to scale it down to like 0, and just scroll around until I find a place that kind of looks like a ribbon cable, I guess. Oh, we could use this. That's actually a ribbon cable. There we go. Ha! That works okay. Like maybe I'll duplicate it. Have just another one kind of going like that. Hey, yeah, that's a little techie component. And I guess for a last thing, I really will add something sort of glossy on there. Let's see, emissive plus kind of just a dark glossy shader. Add shader. Turn down the roughness. And if we go into well, it's reflecting, but there's nothing for it to reflect, so we can't really see anything. But delete this. Got our component. All right, here we are in our other scene. File, append. where's our racetrack component? Yes, and we'll just import everything except for the camera and the light. Where are we? There we are. Cool. Let's just try sticking it like right here, I guess. Delete this guy. We'll go to the camera view. Oh, that works. That works pretty cool. And here's the bracket. That'll be what's holding it. Ha! Okay. And let's see what it looks like in render a little bit. Oh, it's picking up a straight highlight, which we could use actually. Like if we gave a texture to this glossiness, it could probably add to the realism a little bit. But I don't know. Should we do that? Sure. No. No, I'm just gonna turn it off. Why is it? Oh, I'm in world. Fine, we'll do it. I told you guys, my brain, it's kaput. It's kaput. Let's see, which one of these looks kind of like a little monitor? That could be a good one. Yeah. It's a darker material, which means it's going to err on the side of glossier, and we could dial it in, but I think this works all right. I might select this, even though this is fairly realistic, I might darken it a little bit, just so that, like, the frame doesn't read as dominant of a detail, you know? I just want to have the screen be the biggest thing. Yeah, darken that up. And we could, just to play around with the aesthetic, here's our race map. What am I doing? Oh, it's the alpha. That doesn't need to be doing anything. Let's try playing around with the hue, because all the colors are fairly arbitrary. So we got a blue version. Increase the saturation. Just because if we wanted to control like the aesthetic of the scene a little bit, like try to slip in a little bit of a color scheme, this would be a good place to put a pop of color. So sometimes it's nice to just play around. I think the pink might. Kind of like it blue. We're not even gonna be able to see anything. That's okay though. No, you'll see. I should have had something big and blinking so that it really, you know, drove the point home. That it was animated and not just like a random tiny little still. Here, let's add down in here just a tiny little pop of LED. New material. Assign. Emissive. We'll just make it kind of a little orange. Maybe too small. Yeah, it's good. All right, so there we go. Spent way too much time putting a little component in our scene. I'll put up the video of trying to make a proper monitor tomorrow, I think. And I did, and it crashed. But then I don't know. That was an hour and 20 minutes. It was an hour and 20 minutes. You're not getting that back.